Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. The Rochester Press Box from the mighty Genesee Brewhouse. When the Buffalo Bills drafted Josh Allen, there was all this talk. It was Josh versus Josh. And I thought the majority of people at the time the Bills took Allen would have taken Rosen and preferred that they took him.
Yeah.
You know, a year later, I don't know that the Bills are getting enough credit for having done the right thing.
Well, at the moment, it's the right thing. And that's not a slight against Josh Rosen.
But Rosen's going to get traded.
He might, and he may end up being in a much better circumstance. And we don't know what this year and the next year and the next year are going to show with these guys. I do think Josh Allen, in many ways, is just a good fit with the Bills. His personality, the way he works, the way he relates to people. But if Josh Rosen gets in a better circumstance and starts chucking passes and he's very accurate, it's going to look a lot different. But to your point, I think it's now become, since the draft is long gone, it's going to be more Darnold and Allen because they're in the same division, going to play each other twice a year. The Rosen thing, you're right, got put in the back seat unless he gets traded to the New England Patriots and, you know, eventually becomes their quarterback. I don't think it's going to be as big a deal anymore, other than the fact they got the same name and they were drafted in the first round.
I saw one of these outlets. If we redrafted the last draft, where people would go, and the Cleveland Browns did the right thing, but the Bills, they said Allen would have gone second if you took that draft and redrafted it today.
That's arguable. Listen, I'm thrilled with the way Josh Allen played, and I was one of those guys that wanted Rosen, and I was very, very wrong again at this moment right now. But you know, the way things play out, it reminds me of the last major quarterback draft. What was it? 2004 with Eli, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep.
Is Josh Rosen J.P. Lossman? Like, that is horrible. I feel for the guy, right? Like, you don't want to be...
Well, someone's got to be.
But even going back to 83, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, Ken O'Brien, and then...
Blackledge.
Yes,
Todd
exactly.
Blackledge.
Todd, you don't want to be Todd Blackledge. Yeah. You don't want to be J.P. Lossman. It feels like Josh Rosen might be that guy.
Doesn't there have to be a guy like that, though?
Well, Rosen, I don't know why we're surprised. I mean, this guy's left a path of destruction everywhere he's gone. He hasn't played. The next time he plays in an offensive system for 2 consecutive years will be the first time in his college and pro career. He's had different offensive coordinators every year. He was at UCLA, and now his first 2 years in the pro, and now he's got a new head coach. No matter what ends up with this, whether he stays in Arizona or not, the guy's constantly learning new things. The guy to keep an eye on, and I agree with Mike, I mean, if you want to talk about teams that did the right thing, got the guy that everybody wanted, it was the Jets getting Darnold. I mean, is there a single Bills fan that would have been upset with the Bills selecting Sam Darnold instead of Josh Rosen or Josh Allen last year?
But they kind of knew that. He was
ahead of them. They were ahead of them in the draft.
I just thought, in retrospect, Allen just looks like such the great pick. It was risky at the time, and right now, without a lot of to go on, it looks like a great pick.
Well, but to Mike's point, I mean, he fits Buffalo, and not just the way that they play football, but the way that the city perceives itself, right? Like, listen, let's go back and use J.P. Lossman again. J.P. Lossman played a lot like Josh Allen did. He played with reckless abandonment. He had a cannon of an arm, but he tried to embrace the city, but he wasn't a blue-collar guy. He had long hair and he was a surfer, and it created resentment among Bills fans, right? Same with Rob Johnson, also a similar type of guy, a little more fragile, right? It's the fact that Josh Allen is on video eating wings and hurdling over linebackers and saying how he's a farmer. That's why they love him.
So the fans like that. I mean, does that matter? Does your play on the field
in that locker room? I would say this. You can tell when there's the phony, we like the guy. They like Josh Allen. Now, here's what's different. Last year was like, maybe he won't play, or when he does play, hopefully he can do something. Then he started out. This year it's different. They've gotten him help, and we have to see how it plays out and how the draft plays out. But the bar is now higher for Josh Allen, right? He's already proved he can play in the NFL because there were people saying he couldn't play. He can play. He needs to take a step up, and those guys have followed him, but now they expect more out of Josh Allen internally as well as everybody else. So, yeah, it's a big year for him.
The last thing on this, Mike, in terms of, like, how high is that bar going to be set for this team, do you think, approaching the second year of Josh Allen?
I know expectations are high. I'd settle for, can we get him to pass for 3,000 yards in one season? I mean, I think that would be a step in the right direction for a Bills quarterback.
But are you talking playoffs? Is that setting the bar too high?
I'd say, yeah. I think it's setting the bar a little high.
But the AFC is still down. It's been down the last couple of years. That last playoff spot has been there unless something drastically changes. If you're a 500 team, you're going to be in contention the whole year.
Unless you play in the AFC East, in which your case you're losing 2 games a year to the Patriots.